The 72-hour blackout protocol. What they don't tell you about grid collapse. Stop scrolling right now, because in the next 16 minutes, I'm going to show you the 72-hour protocol that keeps you alive when the power grid goes down and doesn't come back up. Not for hours, not for days, for weeks, maybe months. No diesel generator, no solar panel farm, no off-grid compound. Just you, your apartment, and the cascading system failures that are happening in the dark around you right now. Here's what nobody tells you. A grid collapse doesn't start with dramatic warnings. It starts with your lights flickering once, twice, then darkness. Complete, absolute darkness. And in that darkness, within the first 72 hours, the carefully balanced systems that keep 8 billion people alive begin to fail in sequence. Water stops flowing. Food spoils. Supply chains break. And 90% of people are completely unprepared for what happens next because they've never understood how fragile the infrastructure actually is. The mathematics is simple and absolutely brutal. Your city, any city, runs on a principle called just-in-time delivery. Grocery stores keep 3 days of food. Gas stations have fuel for maybe 5 days. Pharmacies restock weekly. Water treatment plants have backup power for 48 hours maximum. Everything is optimized for efficiency, which means there's zero redundancy. When the power dies, the countdown begins immediately. Let's do the math. Take a city of 2 million people. Average household has 3 to 7 days of food, assuming people actually have full pantries, which they don't. Most have maybe 2 to 3 days. Water from the tap stops flowing after 24 to 48 hours when the pumps die. No water means no sanitation. No sanitation means disease spreads exponentially. Week 1, mild panic, stores emptied. Week 2, real desperation begins. Week 3, societal breakdown in urban areas. And this is just from a power outage. But here's the counterintuitive truth. The majority doesn't die from lack of electricity. The majority dies from panic, from bad decisions made in the first 24 hours, from not understanding the sequence of failures. They rush to stores that are already cleaned out. They waste their car's gas driving around looking for open stations. They drink contaminated water because they didn't know how to purify it. They freeze because they didn't understand thermodynamics. You won't do that. You'll survive because you know the 72-hour protocol. The 4 phases that separate immediate chaos from strategic survival. No guessing, no hoping, just physics, planning, and brutal clarity about what works. Phase 1. The first 6 hours, the assessment window. The power goes out. Not just your house. The whole block. The whole city. You can tell because you look outside and there are no lights anywhere. No street lamps, no building lights, nothing. The sky is darker than you've ever seen it. This is your assessment window. First rule, don't panic drive. This is the mistake that kills thousands. People jump in their cars, they drive to check on family, they go to stores, they burn through their gas in the first few hours. Then when they actually need the vehicle, the tank is empty and gas stations don't work without electricity. Their pumps need power. You need your fuel for actual emergencies, not reconnaissance missions. Second rule, information gathering. Turn on a battery-powered radio or use your phone while it still has charge. You need to know scope and estimated duration. Is this local or national? Is it a technical failure or something worse? Don't waste phone battery on social media. Preserve it for critical communication. Enable low-power mode immediately. Third rule, water right now. The municipal water system runs on electric pumps. You probably have 3 to 6 hours of water pressure left from the water already in the pipes and elevated tanks. Maybe 12 hours if you're lucky. Fill every container you have. Bathtubs, sinks, pots, bottles, buckets. You need a minimum of 1 gallon per person per day. For a 2-week scenario, that's 14 gallons per person. A standard bathtub holds 40 to 60 gallons. Fill it. Now, this single action could be the difference between survival and desperation. Fourth rule, food inventory. Don't open the refrigerator unless absolutely necessary. Every time you open it, you lose cold air. A full refrigerator stays cold for about 4 hours unopened, a freezer for 48 hours if it's packed. Do a mental inventory. What do you have that doesn't require cooking? What requires minimal water? What will spoil first? You're doing triage on your food supply. Fifth rule, secure your space. Lock doors, close windows. In the first 24 hours, people are still civilized. By hour 48, desperation changes behavior. You want your home secured before that shift happens. This isn't paranoia. This is pattern recognition from every historical grid failure, from the 2003 Northeast blackout to the 2021 Texas freeze. The first 6 hours separate the prepared from the panicked. Those who act methodically have an 85% better outcome than those who react emotionally. That's not an estimate. That's data from disaster analysis. Phase 2. Hours 6 to 72. The fortress mentality. You're secured. You have water. You've preserved your food. Now begins the psychological war against yourself. Your mind will tell you to check if the store has power, to drive around and see what's happening, to use your supplies, because surely this will be fixed soon. These are cognitive biases. Normalcy bias, the assumption that things will return to normal quickly. Optimism bias, the belief that you'll be fine even if others aren't. These biases kill people in disasters. Ignore them. The first 72 hours are critical because this is when the cascade failures begin. Let me show you the sequence that most people don't understand. Hour 0 to 6, power out, initial confusion. Water still flowing from residual pressure. Hour 6 to 24, water pressure drops significantly or stops completely. Cell towers begin failing as backup batteries die. Gas stations can't pump fuel. Traffic lights dead, causing gridlock and accidents. Hospitals running on generators. Hour 24 to 48, cell service mostly gone. Hospitals start rationing generator fuel. Sewage systems backing up because pumps are dead. Medication requiring refrigeration starting to spoil. Food in stores and homes beginning to rot. Winter scenario, homes dropping below 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Summer scenario, heat stroke risks rising. Hour 48 to 72, this is the critical window. Social order begins to fray in urban areas. Stores that haven't been looted are locked down. Police and emergency services overwhelmed or unable to respond. Hospitals turning away non-critical cases to preserve resources. The thin veneer of civilization is cracking. Here's what you need to understand about thermodynamics, because this kills people. The human body maintains a core temperature of 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. If your environment drops below 50 degrees Fahrenheit and you're not properly dressed, you lose heat faster than you can generate it. Hypothermia begins at 95 degrees Fahrenheit core temperature. By 90 degrees Fahrenheit, you're experiencing severe symptoms. By 85 degrees Fahrenheit, you're likely dead. Winter survival math. Your house loses approximately 1 degree Fahrenheit per hour when the heat is off, depending on insulation. A 70 degrees Fahrenheit house in 30 degrees Fahrenheit weather will be at 50 degrees Fahrenheit within 20 hours. You need to create a warm room. Choose the smallest room in your house, preferably interior with no windows. Seal it with blankets over doorways. Body heat from 2 to 3 people in a small sealed room can maintain 60 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit even when the rest of the house is 40 degrees Fahrenheit. This is survivable. Sleeping bags rated for the temperature range are essential. Summer survival math, the opposite problem. When AC dies in a heat wave, interior temperatures can reach 95 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit within hours. Heat exhaustion begins when your core temperature reaches 100 to 102 degrees Fahrenheit. Heat stroke, which is often fatal, occurs at 104 degrees Fahrenheit. You combat this by staying in the lowest, darkest part of your home, using wet cloths on pulse points, and drastically reducing activity. You need more water and heat, up to 1.5 gallons per person per day. Now, the resource management that separates survivors from casualties. Water purification. You've filled your containers, but what when they run out? You have 3 options. Option 1, boiling. Bring water to a rolling boil for 1 minute. 3 minutes if you're above 6,500 feet elevation. This kills bacteria, viruses, and parasites. It doesn't remove chemical contamination, but it makes water microbiologically safe. Option 2, chemical purification. Household bleach, unscented, 8 drops per gallon. Let's sit for 30 minutes. Option 3, filtration. A ceramic or activated carbon filter can remove most contaminants. Without any of these, you're gambling with dysentery, and diarrhea in a survival scenario can be fatal due to dehydration. Food rationing. You need about 1,200 to 2,000 calories per day to function. Less, and your body begins consuming muscle mass, your immune system weakens, your cognitive function deteriorates. For 2 weeks, that's 16,800 to 28,000 calories minimum. A can of soup is about 200 to 300 calories. A can of beans is 300 to 400. Do the math on what you have. Create a strict ration schedule. Don't let hunger drive decisions. Hunger makes you take stupid risks like venturing out too soon. Light discipline. Once it's dark, you need light. Candles, flashlights, whatever you have. But here's what most people don't consider. Light discipline. If you're broadcasting light from your windows at night, while everyone else is dark, you're advertising that you have resources. Cover windows. Use light only in interior rooms. This isn't about being antisocial. It's about not becoming a target. The mental game is where most people lose. Boredom becomes oppressive. Uncertainty gnaws at you. You'll want to break routine to go see what's happening. Don't. Not yet. The first 72 hours are when the desperate people are most active. By day 4 to 5, a pattern emerges. You'll know who in your building or neighborhood is organized, who is struggling, where the real threats are. Create structure. Wake at the same time. Ration meals at consistent intervals. Check your water supply twice daily. Do inventory once per day. Structure creates the illusion of control, and that illusion is what prevents panic. Phase 3. Hours 72 to 336. Days 3 to 14. The adaptation phase. You've made it through the critical window. The grid is still down. Now you're adapting to a new reality. This is where skills matter more than supplies. Water sourcing. Your bathtub supply is depleting. You need alternatives. Rainwater collection. If you have access to a roof or balcony, set up containers. First flush. Let the first 10 minutes of rain wash contaminants off collection surfaces, then start collecting. Purify everything. Water heater. Your water heater holds 40 to 50 gallons. There's a drain valve at the bottom. Turn off the inlet valve first, then open the drain. That's emergency water. Swimming pools. If accessible, pool water can be purified for use. It's chlorinated, which actually helps, but you still need to filter out debris and possibly adjust chemical balance. Cooking without power. You need to eat your perishables first before they spoil completely. If you have a gas stove and the gas lines are still working, you can use it. Light with a match or lighter. If electric, you need alternatives. Camping stove with fuel canisters works, but only outdoors or in extremely well-ventilated areas. Carbon monoxide poisoning kills people in blackouts when they use grills or generators indoors. If you have a fireplace, that's your best option, but most people don't know how to build a proper fire. Small, hot fires are more efficient than large smoky ones. Waste management. This is the topic nobody wants to discuss, but everyone must. Toilets don't flush without water pressure. You have 2 options. 1. Manual flushing. If you have water supply, pour 2 to 3 gallons directly into the bowl to force a flush. Use gray water from washing for this, not drinking water. 2. Bucket toilet. Line a bucket with garbage bags. Use it, seal the bag, dispose of it as far from living areas as possible. This is primitive, but necessary. Sewage backup and waste contamination cause disease outbreaks in prolonged blackouts. Communication networks. By day 3 to 4, your phone is dead unless you have a solar charger or car charger set up. This is when community matters. If you have neighbors you trust, establish a check-in system. Morning and evening knock pattern. Share information about what people are seeing, hearing on radios, observing in the neighborhood. Collective intelligence is survival intelligence. Security considerations. This is uncomfortable but necessary. By day 5 to 7, people who didn't prepare are desperate. Desperate people do desperate things. You don't need to become paranoid, but you need to be aware. Don't broadcast what you have. Don't flash lights unnecessarily. If someone knocks asking for help, assess carefully. Helping others is noble, but not at the cost of your own survival. There's a reason flight attendants say to put your own oxygen mask on first. Phase 4. Day 14 plus, the decision point. 2 weeks in, you've beaten the curve. Most casualties have already occurred. You're facing a decision. Stay isolated or begin exploring reintegration with whatever society remains. 3 factors determine your answer. Factor 1. Supply status. Are you running out of water or food? If yes, you must venture out, but methodically. Plan routes to likely supply sources, abandoned stores, community distribution points if they exist, water sources. Never go alone if possible. Take only what you need for the trip. Mark your route and have a return plan. Factor 2. Information. If you have a working radio, you're hearing official communications or lack thereof. Are authorities restoring power in zones? Are there aid stations? Is this a local event or nationwide? Information determines whether you're waiting for restoration or adapting to a new normal. Factor 3. Community formation. By week 2, survivors begin finding each other. Bartering starts. Skills become currency. If you can purify water, repair things, provide medical knowledge, you have value. But community also means trust, and trust is hard to establish in crisis. Observe before committing. The final mathematics of survival. The majority of casualties in a grid-down scenario occur in the first week. They occur because people didn't understand the cascade. They didn't prepare psychologically for isolation. They made emotional decisions instead of logical ones. They consumed resources too quickly or ventured out too soon. You won't be part of that statistic. You understand that survival isn't heroic. It's methodical. It's understanding that electricity isn't just convenience. It's the invisible thread holding together water systems, food supply, medical care, communication, and social order. Without it, everything unravels in a predictable sequence. But predictable means preparable. The challenge: go to your home right now and assess. Do you have 14 gallons of water storage capacity? Do you have 14 days of non-perishable food? Do you have manual water purification methods? Do you have a heat source that doesn't require electricity? Do you have a battery radio? A first aid kit? Flashlights with extra batteries? If the answer is no to any of these, that's your priority. Not tomorrow. Today. Because when the lights go out, you don't have time to learn. You only have time to execute. The grid is more fragile than you think. The Texas freeze of 2021 showed that a week of cold could bring a modern state to its knees. The 2003 Northeast blackout showed that 50 million people could be dark in minutes. The question isn't if, but when the next one happens. And when it does, your preparation determines whether you're part of the solution or part of the casualty count. Your home is waiting. The darkness is patient.